Have you ever come home and still felt restless, even though you're finally safe? Most people blame stress or clutter, but in Japan, the problem begins at the front door. The entryway, called the Genkan, isn't just where shoes come off, it's a boundary between the outside world and your inner peace. Traditionally, people believed you should leave behind the day's heaviness before stepping inside. Once you understand that, these 6 simple footwear habits become more than cleaning, they become a daily reset. You step inside, slip off your shoes, and leave them exactly where they fall. Maybe one ends up pointing toward the wall while the other is turned the opposite way. Sound familiar? Most of us do it without even thinking. It's not because we're lazy, it's simply habit. After a busy day, all you want is to get inside, relax, and finally switch off. Your shoes are probably the last thing on your mind. In Japan, though, something interesting happens right after the shoes come off. People quietly turn them around so they're facing the door, lined up and ready for the next time they leave. It's such a simple gesture that you could easily miss it. But the meaning behind it goes far beyond the shoes. It's really about you. That simple 10-second habit of bending down and straightening your shoes might not seem like much, but it could be one of the very few moments in your entire day when your body and your mind are actually in the same place. You're not checking your phone, you're not replaying what happened earlier, or worrying about tomorrow. For just a few seconds, it's only you, your hands, the shoes, and the floor. There's something else that's easy to overlook. A pile of shoes pointing in every direction creates a subtle sense of chaos the moment you walk through the door. You may not consciously think about it, but your brain notices. Even in that brief half-second, it registers the disorder before you even make it farther into your home. Your mind quietly takes it in, even if you don't realize it. And when that happens day after day, it's easy to see why some homes instantly make you feel relaxed, while others leave you feeling just a little more overwhelmed the moment you walk in. But this is where things get even more interesting. Because the next Japanese habit has nothing to do with where you put your shoes. It's about what your feet learn the moment those shoes come off. The moment you slip out of your outdoor shoes and into a pair of indoor slippers, something subtle happens. It's like you're telling yourself, the outside world can wait. I'm home now. It might sound too simple to make a difference, but when you repeat that little ritual every day, it becomes a powerful signal. Over time, your brain and body begin to recognize it as the moment to relax, let go of the day's stress, and settle into the comfort of home. And this is where the tradition gets even more interesting. In many Japanese homes, there's actually a separate pair of slippers that's only meant for the bathroom. The slippers you wear around the house never go into the bathroom, and the bathroom slippers never leave it. They stay in their own space every single time. At first, it might seem a little excessive. After all, they're just slippers, right? But there's a deeper idea behind it. Each part of the home has its own purpose, and keeping those spaces separate helps preserve that feeling. The place where you relax stays distinct from the bathroom. Over time, even your feet start to recognize the difference. You don't have to stop and think about it anymore. It simply becomes part of your routine. And have you ever noticed that many traditional Japanese slippers are made from straw, cotton, or even wood instead of plastic or other synthetic materials? That's not just for the way they look. Natural materials are breathable and comfortable, but they also reflect a long-standing belief that staying in touch with natural textures helps you feel more grounded. It's a small reminder of nature in a world where most of us spend our days surrounded by concrete, screens, and artificial surfaces. But the habit that goes the deepest isn't about switching shoes. It's about caring for them. Now and then, people take a moment to wipe the bottoms of their shoes. It's usually not because they're covered in dirt. It's simply part of the routine. That small act of brushing away whatever the day brought in can feel surprisingly calming. You're not just cleaning your shoes, you're mentally letting go of the day as well. And then there's the shoe cabinet. It's kept neat, well ventilated, and free of clutter, not just for the sake of organization. In traditional Japanese thinking, it's believed that ki, or life energy, flows through a home much like fresh air does. When a space is clean, open, and organized, it feels lighter, calmer, and more welcoming. The idea is that when clutter starts piling up in that little corner by the door, it doesn't just stay there. It subtly changes how the whole space feels. You may not notice it right away, but the entrance begins to feel heavier and busier every time you come home. There's another quiet belief behind all of this too. When you take the time to care for a pair of shoes instead of throwing them away as soon as they show a few scuffs, you're doing more than just saving money. You're showing respect for the things that have served you well, and that simple mindset can slowly shape the way you treat everything else in your life. It's really a simple way of gratitude. Instead of always looking for the next new thing, you learn to appreciate what you already have. And over time, that mindset doesn't just stay with your shoes. It starts to show up in other parts of your life too. When you take better care of your belongings, you often end up being more thoughtful with your time, your home, and even your daily routines. And that's the point where this stops being a story about shoes. It's really about the small habits that quietly shape the way you live every single day. Because at this point, this isn't really about shoes anymore. We started by talking about something as ordinary as footwear, but somewhere along the way, the conversation became about something much deeper. It's about paying attention. It's about the small habits that shape your day without you even realizing it. It's about giving yourself a clear moment to leave one part of the day behind before stepping into the next. And maybe that's the real question behind all of this. It's not, how do I keep my entryway organized? It's, how do I stop bringing the stress, noise, and distractions from the outside world into the place that's supposed to feel like home? That's what these little rituals are really trying to teach. So here's something you can actually try tonight. It takes less than 30 seconds. The next time you get home, resist the urge to grab your phone or drop your bags right away. Instead, take off your shoes, turn them so they're facing the door, and pause for one slow, deep breath. That's all you have to do. It may seem like a tiny thing, but when you repeat that same little ritual every day, your brain starts to recognize it as the moment to switch off from the outside world. It's a simple habit, but that's exactly why it works. Over time, that small, consistent action becomes a clear boundary between the stress of the day and the comfort of being home. And maybe that's the biggest lesson behind all of these shoe habits. A home doesn't feel peaceful just because it's spotless or perfectly organized. It feels peaceful because you've created a clear boundary between the outside world and the space where you rest. In the end, the shoes were never really the point. They were simply the easiest place to begin. That small moment at the front door becomes a reminder to leave the stress, noise, and rush of the day outside. So when you step in, you're not just entering your home, you're truly arriving. So tonight, when you walk through your front door and take off your shoes, pause for just a second. Think about what that moment really means. You're not just getting comfortable. You're giving yourself permission to leave the day behind and step into a space that's meant for rest. I'd love to know which of these Japanese habits surprised you the most. Was it the idea of having different slippers for different rooms? Or was it realizing that something as simple as a cluttered entryway can quietly affect how your home feels? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this made you see your own front door a little differently, consider sharing this video with someone who could use a little more peace and calm in their everyday life.